It is a race to the finish.
These people don't give a shit.
Who's giving them the business?
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's got it. Goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. It's going to win the football. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown. And the Gators have won the game.
50 to the 40. Herman Whitfield to the 30 to the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown FSU.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 2024 College Football Extravaganza. I'm glad to be back. Justin's here. We were having technical difficulties, but it's all right now. He's here. You can see him. He's our stats guy. Joey will be joining us throughout this year, and we're going to be filming this in person. We just couldn't do it tonight, so we wanted to get one to you guys. Justin, week 0, man. I have my thoughts on a lot, just like structures of the schedule-wise, but obviously the big game, FSU goes down in Dublin. What do you think about that? You had Georgia Tech winning the game. I will say that. So Joey was talking shit in our group chat saying, you're insane, you're crazy. And I thought FSU was going to win too, not going to lie. But I had a feeling in my stomach that Georgia Tech could pull it out. You were right, man.
Yeah. That game, I knew it would be spectacular. I mean, you want a game like that to live up to the hype. You're going to make them travel internationally. You'll have an international crowd. You'll have a lot of guys who it's their first time playing for these teams because of all the transfers that we have. So it had a lot of impact on just, week 0 alone, because week 0, it's a lot of those smaller schools, nothing that's too crazy. And, I had a nice little parlay this weekend. I had Georgia Tech. I had the money line on them. I had them covering the spread, of course. If you have the money line, of course, you want to take the spread as well, especially when they're the underdog. They were about a 12-point underdog. And then I had Delaware State covering a 40-point spread versus Hawaii. I had New Mexico having a 14-point spread versus Montana State. And then I believe my other one was Nevada covering a spread versus SMU. Those were all great games in their own aspect. I think this week for how small week 0 is, and the games not being a very high caliber level or tune-up games or these games of high spreads, this was honestly a good week. Like you saw some good football. You saw comebacks happen. You saw an upset. But sitting on the FSU game alone, Georgia Tech, I knew that would be a great game. Brent Key went 7-5 last year, or something of that matter. Around the 500 win percentage season. For a first year in the ACC, especially when you play Georgia, Ole Miss, who were ranked top 10 last year as well. So those were a part of your losses. That's a pretty tough schedule as your first year as a head coach, of course. So for him to go out there, he is 4-0 going into the FSU game versus ranked ACC teams. I was like, okay, take that into perspective. But then also you have to take Haynes King. This kid, he tuned up. He had a record-breaking year when it came to an offensive perspective for Georgia Tech. He had 37 touchdowns, I believe it was, 27 passing, 10 rushing. One of the best years that we saw. He did have 16 interceptions. Both touchdowns and interceptions led the ACC last year, I believe. But, if you're good, you have your bad. But you knew there was potential there. And just the run game alone, just the emotions that they had. Brent Key being 4-0 going into that game against ranked ACC opponents, it was definitely no slouch. That game could have gone. I was just hoping for a competitive game. I saw Georgia Tech winning that game, and luckily for me, it came out right, of course. But just because I figured with everything that they lost last year as FSU, they lost so many great guys, such insane talent, that morale wasn't going to repeat again this year. And so for Georgia Tech, had 16 starters returning. You knew that was going to be a good season for them. And they came out punched in the mouth early from FSU, and they came back and they lit them up. I thought it was a great game overall. It was what you want when you have these big games being played internationally. You want a good game to come out of it. That's all that matters. Like, if it's a blowout, it's just not fun. It's not fun for anybody. No, it's not fun for anybody. So to see that come out as such a great game, but also a top 10 upset, a huge win for Georgia Tech. I mean, it's fun. I mean, college football, it always has those main characters that you're always going to see every year. Some star better than others, but you always will have your Ohio State, your Clemson, your Georgia, your LSUs. You're always going to have those guys that come out and play year in, year out. But, you want those new characters that come in and play a role in the storyline. And I'm hoping Georgia Tech can do that this year. I mean, coming in this game, they definitely submitted themselves into the ACC picture. We still haven't seen.
I think they can. That schedule, they could play some. They could play home wreckers to a lot of teams on that schedule. I think they play Ole Miss again. Do they play Ole Miss again, or was that just last year?
I don't recall off the top of my head, but I do know that Miami's not on their schedule, which is good for them because you don't want to meet them until a possible.
I think Miami is on their schedule.
Is it?
Yeah, because I got this the Lindy's magazine here, and I was on my flight today. I just went through the whole thing. I went through and predicted, what I thought people were gonna do this year. Let's see.
Let me get my laptop out here.
Yeah, November 9th at Georgia Tech though. Miami. So that's a big game right there. I'm excited for the ACC too. What could be the last year of the ACC as we know it?
No, I mean, I'm really excited for Georgia Tech's first home game. That's something I'm just that you want to see that stadium come back to life a little bit. Also, shout out Jamal Haynes. That guy, he's a stud, man. That guy can run the rock really well. Rutherford, Leary, there's some offensive studs on that team. And Haynes King, man, he does it. He can do it, man.
And it looked good seeing Georgia Tech not running the triple option, but running the spread.
They used all the field. That's the thing. They used all the field. That's what I loved about it. Is that you may not have the best athletes on the field, and you may not have the best playbook. You may not have the best at your positions, but if you're using all the field, you're leveling the playing field for someone who has better athletes than you, because it makes them think more. It makes them think, okay, could they be going to the right more? They've used it this way, and you have to use every aspect of your defense, because if you don't, if there's even the slightest bit of a hole, they'll find it and they'll attack it until you make them stop.
Now I'm going to stand. Oh, sorry. Go
ahead. I was very thoroughly impressed with what Brent Key brought to the table, and that was an offensive playbook that did really well, and also their defense. The pass rush on DJ, couldn't do anything about it, and it hurt him, and that's fine with me.
Yeah. So I'm going to stand up for Joey since he couldn't make it tonight. He said they're not dead yet. Our co-host, FSU guy, he's like, we're not dead yet. I think that Norvell kept running the ball. He shouldn't have kept running the ball because obviously it wasn't working. And he was saying he didn't think that they put the ball in DJ's hands enough to make some plays. I saw DJ miss some key throws. Haynes King missed a key throw as well there in the end zone.
He had a deep ball that he missed out on.
And so I think I don't know. I think that you weren't running the ball well, and I can see where Joey's coming from. I also agreed with Joey. He said that Georgia Tech might just be a lot better than we're thinking. And like you mentioned, they return a lot of seniors, juniors, veterans to their squad. Brent Key doing an amazing job. I mean, you got Atlanta as your base. I mean, come on, you can't have. How are you going to squander the opportunity to recruit kids in Atlanta? You know what I'm saying? You're in a hotbed state in Georgia. You got Florida right there. If you can get a program running at Georgia Tech like it used to be, Georgia Tech, they're a traditional powerhouse in college football.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you can't tell. It's the olden story of college football.
The olden story, exactly. Yeah. The olden times.
The olden times. It's kind of like when it comes to taking a college course about American history, like it's American history before 1877, American history after 1877. They would be before. That is when it comes to how college football is.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. I'm sharing some tweets that I bookmarked, and this guy was reacting to this play from the Georgia Tech FSU game.
Georgia Tech, you got to do something now.
Oh, this.
We got to do something now.
Pressure, keep it out.
Oh, here we go. Oh, got him. Oh, damn.
Oh, he looks so stupid.
No, that play, because that would happen like 5 minutes left.
Yeah,
in
we
the
got
game.
to. Yeah, that was a key play. And look at the direction they're going. Like he's trying to get his head across there. He's on the ground. He done got his feet just. He doesn't even know where they're going. I guess he's going this way. Oh man, they could not stop Georgia Tech on the ground. Could not stop
No.
them. And so
But-
going into the game, you hear FSU's got the top 5 defensive line in the nation. Allegedly, they didn't look like a top 5 defensive line. They didn't look like a number 10 team in the nation. Week 0.
This will always it's going to be this way, right? Like, anyone that I showed my parlay to about Georgia Tech, they're like, "You're crazy. They have a top 10 defense. You're crazy." It's just not always going to be the case. I mean, you got to remember last year, whatever for FSU. I mean, I think it was like week 2, week 3. They struggled versus Boston College. It's you're going to have those slow games where you don't start off right. So that game was definitely one of them. I mean, but for the good thing for all the FSU fans out there, it was nice for them to be humbled out the gate. But with the new scheme of how college football is, they can still play. They can still compete. They can still have a chance at the playoff that they didn't get in last year. So it's not over.
Back-to-back losses to Georgia teams does not look good. That doesn't sit pretty with you. This was in the Georgia Tech locker room after the game. That was just some classic shit talking. You probably saw this.
Yeah.
With the towel. They stole a towel.
Them niggas was ranked 10?
Yeah.
Right? All right, and he's right, 'cause that's exactly how y'all play.
I love this guy. He's good.
Right like ass.
No, is it going to do this? Whatever. Get out of here. We'll get out of here.
We shouldn't be named after a Seminole. We should be named after a Cherokee. All right, and y'all know which one. All right, now before we watch the film, all right, let's take a look at something. Look at you guys.
This is going to pop up
Right,
once
look at
it,
you guys go.
once it happens.
Right, hey, oh wow,
Oh
what
my
a move.
God. All right, whatever.
As
That-
soon as a
they
video
made
like
the
that
point.
gets posted, whether it's losing this game or losing a game down the road, that video is going to be used on Twitter after.
They were just enjoying Ireland, and now they got I guess it's their second game. It's not week 2 for them. Still week 1 matchup Monday against Boston College, and dude, that's. I mean, I remember Boston College almost had him in the red bandana game last year, and that was as close as FSU came to losing in the regular season. Besides the Florida game, which was just backup quarterbacks. So
Yep.
FSU like if they play like that, season's not looking good to me.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's early. We really don't know. That's where, like, I think I texted you this. It's especially for betting odds. Take the underdog, whatever the spread is. Take the underdog because they're not going to lose by as much as they're projected or would be in midseason form. These games are going to be a lot closer week 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be a little weird.
No, I agree, and that's why I said what Joey said, because I think that is right. It's too early to tell. Teams turn around. I mean, look, Michigan lost to App State in 2007 and then came back and had a good year. College football, man, weird things happen, but I'm just saying it's going to be a good season with that happening off rip. If that's happening off rip, dude, I'm pumped for this season. There's no doubt about it.
It was funny though, like going back to that play, that key play. It was a 3rd down run that you showed with the Twitter video. I remember watching that play, and when he cut, because he had the first down like clear as day, and when he cut with 2 yards to go, I screamed at the TV because I'm just like, just get the first down. But that was a key play in that game, and yeah, I mean that was a good game. But I remember talking to my guys Casey and Trevor. When it comes to they'll be frequent commenters on the podcast, of course. But when it came to after that game, we were like, we're getting kind of blue balled over here because we just had like this hot start And now it's just like we have to wait like really another week. We just got like a really great trailer preview of what college football is going to be this year.
Oh yeah, and that was my main gripe with week 0, and I guess it's why they call it week 0 because it's not week 1, right? It's like you get maybe one good game, but that's the opening game. If that's going to be the opening game, why don't we have a couple other just to kind of get the season going? I mean,
Well, I mean,
we had
even
a
with
couple other, but they were not big ones. The
even with
SMU
that,
Nevada game was good.
yeah,
Yeah,
even with that jersey you're wearing, the 150, I believe. I mean, Miami, Florida, didn't they start off the 150 year?
yeah, they did.
Yeah, and
And
that
but
was a
that
good
was like the
game.
only. Yeah, that was a really good game. That's what it's too early. It's too early, and then what you have to work on now. Obviously, FSU has to work on stopping the run. They got to work on play calling in the right situations. It seems because I kind of agree with Joey. I think maybe if you can't run the ball, you're not running the ball today. You can't stick with a game plan that's not working.
Well, I
Now
mean, they ran the ball that first drive. Like when
the
it came out
first
that
drive,
first drive, we were sitting back. We're like, oh, that was a big like oh, that
mhm.
was they came out hot. They didn't throw the ball at all, and that was really the difference maker. It's like okay, that first drive, it's scripted. You're gonna come out, you're gonna run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. The secondary is gonna be sitting back a little bit, but you can't do that all game. And so then when they had to throw it, then we're like, oh, so this is where your problem is. You can't throw the ball. And so you're going to load the box because you can't throw the ball. And they got beat underneath a little bit, but the top was fine. The top wasn't going
Yeah.
anywhere.
No, and DJ wasn't really taking any deep shots, and when he did, they had that one deep shot, and the wide receiver had to bend his route back,
Yeah.
and the ball hit the ground, but it was almost a big catch right there, but almost doesn't count there. Yeah, so Florida State busts my parlay off rip, and you're right. Week 0, week 1, I'm going underdogs.
I was definitely really happy about the my parlay. It was just a little something, and for it to hit, I was happy about. I was really stressing that Delaware State Hawaii game at 1 in the morning because I I get my Delaware teams confused a little bit, and I thought they were one of the FCS powerhouses, and I was
Mhm.
like, mm-mm,
Not this one, no.
no.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I went and looked back at their previous schedules, and like they're losing to teams that UWF beats, and like their only loss last year was Virginia, or their only win last year was Virginia Lynchburg. Which I don't know if you remember Virginia Lynchburg, but UWF played them in the opener of 2019 and beat them 69-0.
Oh my God, no, no.
And then they only beat them by like 20.
That's ridiculous.
And I was just like, oh, I'm gonna be stressing a little bit. Luckily, Hawaii they didn't. They only beat them 35-14. It was a 40-point spread, but I can see why. I was just sitting there updating the box score because it's impossible to watch a game of Hawaii. And yeah, I was stressing that like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, I took Delaware State in that one because, like you said, 40-point spread, week 0. I'm like, yeah. Now, you sent me this video. It's kind of funny. I'm going to cold react to this because I haven't watched the full thing yet. This is side by side with Brian Kelly, though. So this is Lane Kiffin and then Brian Kelly's takes on Coca-Cola.
Does anybody drink Coke? You realize that 130% of your sugar for the entire day is in this one bottle. 65 grams of sugar.
When was the last time you had a Coke?
A long time.
Just a shout out to our sponsor, Coke. Smart water, great Coke product, minerals, vitamins, which is great for you. It's refreshing, healthy, and Coke provides you all the products that you need depending on what you like. And I love Smart water.
It was
You caught up.
Bro.
so what's funny? I mean, this is the game I'm looking forward to the most this year is these two, just because last year was an unbelievable shootout, but also because, well, one, I'm going to that game. I'm going to Ole Miss LSU, so I'm excited to do that. Be going with
Nice.
Casey and Trevor, but these two, I mean, this is one. It's
Is
a
it
key
at Ole Miss?
matchup.
Is it at Ole Miss?
No, it's at LSU.
Oh, it's going to be good.
It's a key matchup for the SEC picture because these two, they're in the top 4 teams. You have Bama, you have Georgia, and then the SEC, but you also have Texas. And so, when it comes to that top 4, it's like it's between Ole Miss and LSU. So their game's a key matchup role, and what's going to happen when it goes to which 3 SEC teams are really going to get into that playoff picture.
Yeah, and this is what, like, week 0, this is really what the, preseason's about. And, unfortunately we couldn't be there during the preseason. Sorry. I had to pass the bar, get a job, which I did successfully. So that's
So proud.
yeah.
Finally.
Got it done. We get some money. We can put it into the pod. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah, taking a look, Ole Miss. A lot of people are hyping them up for good reason too. They got a huge transfer portal class coming in. Stole a couple Gators. Stole one Gator.
But they got stolen from. Like, they stole a couple, but their main diamond that they were protecting, he went to the big.
Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon Judkins, unstoppable in NCAA 25. If you played that, we're going to be getting on the NCAA 25 as well. But
yeah, I hope we're going to be able to like play our shot games of the week live on stream, and like that'll be like we'll do like a little live game, probably that. That'd be cool. But I can't wait for after like week 1, week 2, how much they nerf his spin move on the game.
Yep, they definitely did. So, right in the middle of the season at LSU. And LSU's schedule, I looked at it today. They could be undefeated going into that game as well. And
yeah, I know. I mean,
and then you got a hard stretch though. Oklahoma at Arkansas. Then you got Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State. So,
that's where I am sitting. Is Florida is a trap game for that team.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Florida's got a whole bunch of question marks. We're going to have to see what happens with Miami. Now, since it was week 0, do we want to talk about the other games here? I mean, I thought SMU was going to wash Nevada. They didn't. They ended up getting a safety and then a touchdown there towards the end.
Both those games that came after the FSU game, the team that was, the underdog, like New Mexico, they were a 14-point underdog on Montana State. They went up 17 twice, and Montana State came back and went up with 10 seconds left by, I forget.
Montana State's an FCS team, though, right? Yep. But they're FCS.
They're one of the most historic programs. They're the only program in college football to have won a national championship at 3 different divisions. So.
And that's why we needed you, Justin. You got this statistical, historical knowledge that only college football extravaganza can deliver for the fans. So, I mean, they ended up winning, but like you said, the spread was – I got the spread at minus 13.5, I think, on Montana State. I took it just to say screw it, but, you end up being right with all dogs. You ran with all dogs. You took the dogs for a walk, and they ended up bringing you back a fat cash of money.
I know.
Money.
Yeah, I brought the herd with me, and they went crazy. But I think the SMU game, Nevada game, like that was a hard watch. Like so I was at work. I got put on the TV at work, and I watched the first few drives in Nevada. Like they got the ball like 4 times in the first quarter and got 1 first down. I was like, this might be a tough one for me. Because they couldn't throw. The quarterbacks could not throw. And it was getting – and they actually scored the first touchdown. And then they went up again, and they were actually leading the majority of the game until SMU. They really had to come back, which that would have been embarrassing because SMU, it's their first time elevating to a Power 5 conference this season, and then they go lose to a Mount West team.
Yeah,
that would have been a good look.
Let's take a little peek at their schedule because, like you said, first year in the ACC if they would have dropped that game to Nevada, which it looked like they, were going to at times. Okay, they got, was that Houston Christian? I've never heard of Houston Christian. BYU, BYU, never easy game. TCU, Florida State, Louisville. Yeah, so not a terrible schedule. We'll see what Florida State pans out to be. But
they can definitely, if they can straighten. It depends on what they really have. Like if there's a year where I'm entering a Power 5 and I want like a schedule that's like this is like not such a bad intro. This is probably the schedule right here that you want because this isn't too bad. Like it's not too much of a shell shock. For you're not getting thrown a bunch of top 10, top 25 teams in the schedule. So this isn't gonna be. I mean, they'll probably lose Duke. They'll probably lose like Boston College or something like that. They'll lose Florida State. They could probably lose BYU. I mean, they can probably go 8-4.
Just how they're
But-
playing right now, right? Like just from what we saw at SMU or not at SMU at Nevada.
Mhm.
If they play like that, yeah. Duke, I think Duke's got a good bit of leftover talent from Mike Elko, and they bring on who transferred over there for quarterback. Do you remember? Because okay,
No, that's the thing. I'm gonna pull all this up.
Because they got a dude at quarterback.
That's right, Malik Murphy from Texas.
Yeah. So Malik Murphy, obviously, he played a little bit at Texas and
Because
did
Riley
pretty
Leonard
good.
went to
Leonard went to Notre Dame. And we're getting that matchup week 1 too, which we're gonna have to talk about here in a second. So I don't want to spend too much time on week 0 because we got like week 1 is stacked. Week 1 is super stacked. Any last thoughts on week 0 and
for the little expectations you had, you delivered at a milestone to me. So I'm not mad about it at all.
No, I'm not mad about it at all. Like I said, as a Gator fan, man, like opening up with a Florida State loss after the whole offseason.
Just
Hearing
as
it.
a college football fan, man. I mean,
Yeah, true.
the hard part was how much Florida State talked last year. So for them to get humbled out the gate, it made the keyboard warriors of Twitter their lives so much easier. So
it made it so good.
It brought them down real quickly. So thank God. But that was definitely the high of the week.
All right, so week 1, we'll shift into week 1 here, and it's stacked. So if you haven't watched the show before, we do 3 locks a week, and then we add them up.
Weren't we doing 5 last year? No,
I think we ended up doing 5, so we can do 5. We can do 5 if you want, and I
like doing the 5 piece because whenever you're down, like you remember last year in the conference championship week, we did 10.
It allows you to come back. Yeah,
I almost came back.
That's true.
I think I went like 8-2 or 7-3 on the conference champs. So.
Yeah. So what should we do this year? Like I don't know. We got to raise the stakes a little bit. I mean, I know that we do shot games each week. We designate a shot game.
It doesn't have to be a lock. It just has to be a game that we defer on a little bit. So I think that'd be fun. But yeah, I think it should keep the shot game for sure. But I think the locks, that was good. Which the locks has to be a spread, and the spread has to be covered.
Yeah, understood completely. All right, so I'm gonna go down the games starting Thursday, and if I skip one on ESPN that you got a lock on, let me know. All right, so I'm going to mention them because they're a top 25 team. NC State hosts Western Carolina. We're going to do the classic.
Who cares?
There you go. Did you hear it?
Yep.
Did you hear it on? Yeah, here we go. We got it going. All right, so NC State poised to have a good year. Some people have them in their top 3 in the ACC. Some people have them winning the ACC outright. I don't know about that. That is crazy. I think you got to wait a little bit. And we're gonna come out with videos where we predict who's gonna win or who we think's gonna win. We should have already done that, but hopefully we'll get them out soon to you guys. Wake Forest, no. UCF, not hosting New Hampshire. Let's see. The first good. All right, Missouri hosts Murray State. Murray State. Woo!
We're not playing basketball.
No, we're not playing basketball. I'm just trying to. Okay, here we go. The first game that intrigues me, and we do have a lock on this, is North Dakota State at Colorado. So Deion Sanders hosting North Dakota State. Yeah, dude. There's what are we talking? You don't want to lock it up?
Let me get the. All right, now I'm saying. Let's see.
Look, Colorado -10. I and Joey is going to be a double lock. Are locking in on North Dakota State to cover that. We're taking them with the points there. I'm not going to say they're going to win, but we're taking them with the points.
You guys had North Dakota State covering
It's a
this
lock.
game?
Yeah, we got North Dakota State covering against Colorado, dude. Come on. It's first game of the season. North Dakota State's preparing for Colorado.
See, this is my problem. This is like drafting Kyle Pitts in back-to-back years of fantasy. Colorado, these little games, you're kind of like, oh, they'll cover, right? I mean, this was me. I think like the first 5 weeks of the season, I took Colorado as a
North
lock,
Dakota
which
State's gonna beat Colorado.
was-
They're gonna
Could you
win.
imagine? Like Shadur supposed to
I
be
can't
like
imagine.
number one.
I can't imagine. It can happen.
I mean, no, North Dakota State. I mean, they're the best in the FCS.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what? I was on Twitter this week having to I used a Deion Sanders quote because I was mad at Florida not using all their uniform combinations. Bill and Napier is so boring with the uniform combinations. It really gets under my skin. I think you might have saw me post, but
Yeah.
I used a quote from Deion Sanders. You look good, you feel good, you play good,
Play good, pay good.
Yeah. And then someone was like, "Oh, he sucked at Colorado," and I was like, "Yeah, but whatever. I'm not defending Colorado. That's what he said when he was a player. Screw you, dude." So you're not digging the lock here. You're not digging this.
No, I'm not gonna bite the bait on this one.
Well, me and
See,
Joey used
week
one.
one locks are weird. Week one locks are really weird.
Oh yeah, for sure. They are weird, but you know what? That would be an exciting. Wouldn't you love to see that happen? I would love to see that happen.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, it'd be great. I would love it.
All right, Minnesota, North Carolina. Mac Brown, kind of in the hot seat this year at 72 years old. I mean, he's got to do a little bit of something. Let's see. Minnesota's let's see, +2. So, is this a neutral site or is this at Minnesota? It seems like it's at Minnesota.
Minneapolis would be Minnesota.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm inclined to take the Tar Heels. That's just me, but
I mean,
also,
you take the Tar Heels, yeah, but actually, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm staying away from this one for sure.
This is, I mean, so Max Johnson, Connor Harrell, and Jacoby Criswell are the 3 potential starting quarterbacks, and that was posted 2 days ago. So right now, we still don't really know who the quarterback's going to be. And, that's a problem.
I mean, this one is probably the closest. I think it's the closest game for me on just call it because there's question marks all over it.
Mm-hmm.
There's question marks all over it. So I don't know. Staying away from that. I don't really know too much about Minnesota or North Carolina.
I'm just looking at Saturday right now, and there's just some games. Man.
Oh, we're getting there. I'll start blazing through Thursday. All right. So that's pretty much it. You get to see.
That's it for Thursday.
Yeah, you get to see Cam Rising come back and just blaze Southern Utah at Utah. So that'll be nice. Friday, you get some games. You got Oklahoma playing new coach at Michigan State, and you get to see new coach at Wisconsin too. There you go. New coach at Duke, and aforementioned Malik Murphy.
Elko.
Yeah, Mike Elko gone. He gone. Mike Elko's at Texas A&M now. So yep. All right.
It's kind of weird. Yeah,
it is. Now, I think he's going to do good at Texas A&M, and we'll get to that in a second. But first off, this any other podcast, this is the game of the week. This is probably where College Game Day will be. Georgia and Clemson. Clemson going to Georgia. No, it's actually Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So, neutral site, but in Georgia. Clemson, plus 13.5 underdogs here.
What do we got in the comments going on?
Oh, shit. Oh, that's Tim. That's our IT guy. I was telling you your phone's messed up.
Who else we got in comments?
Oh, there we go. Welcome, Casey.
There's my boy. It's just got a text from the guy. I'm like, oh, what do we got? Okay.
I'll monitor the comments. Keep it up, Chad. I'll monitor the comments a little bit better. All right. So Clemson here, Dabo's doing this whole experiment with not using the transfer portal. I was looking at their roster, and they're pretty young. They are pretty young. Georgia,
that's
not that young.
Thing, man. It's like Clemson's being elevated this year, and I don't know why. I'm more confused on where, why?
I'm with you. I think I'm with you there. Yeah.
Even in college football, like even the video game itself, they're put as a tier one. Your tier ones are Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, Clemson. I don't even think. Yeah, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're put in that tier one spot. I'm like, why? Like, what do they have? There's nothing there. Like, it's what? Like, where are you pulling this from? Essentially, like that's probably the least played tier one in college football. Like, I can guarantee you, when it comes to like playing the online dynasty stuff, that's the least played tier one because they're not good.
I mean, you got Cade Klubnik coming back. He didn't have a crazy year.
No, I mean, so we saw him play with DJ, 2 years ago. We really watched them play, and we were like, Cade might be the future of this program. And then it comes out this year, it's like, Cade's kind of mediocre.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at their depth chart right now, and on their offense, you got junior, sophomore, junior, senior, graduate, junior, senior. But behind that, at your two position, which your wide receiver, you're switching in and out a lot. You got two freshmen at the X and H positions at wide receiver. You got another freshman at your right tackle. You got some sophomores. You got another freshman at quarterback. So behind Cade Klubnik, there's a freshman, Christopher Vazina, and a sophomore, Trent Perriman. So, I mean, after that first bit of depth, the first string, you start to see a whole lot of freshmen, which, that's not unheard of, but I'm thinking at other schools like Georgia on some of their good years, they're deep, and that's what makes a good team. You got veterans, and you got veterans behind those veterans.
Yeah, this is I don't know if I'll put this is one of those games. It's like I really don't know where it's going to go. I mean, I think Georgia's going to win. Like, they're going to come out hot, but this is.
And I don't have Georgia being like world beaters this year either. To be honest, like I see them dropping a couple games.
That's the thing, man. A lot. Like, I mean, if you watch game day, the way they had it mapped out, like even Saban, he even said Georgia's won the national championship this year. So that's saying a lot. I mean, I don't think Bama's going to come out and play their best ball.
Let's focus on this game right now. Do the Bulldogs win this game?
Yes. Do I lock it in? No.
I'm the same way. I think they win this game. I'm not sure what the points are going to be looking like because I think Clemson is going to have a decent defense. And, if Clemson has a decent defense, and Georgia plays Georgia football, then we're going to have a classic run-it-down-your-mouth football, low-scoring football game. So, if I was going to bet it, maybe I would bet Clemson as the dog here with the points. But at the same time, I remember what Georgia did to Oregon last year, and I'm not gonna just throw my money away on a feeling, I guess, which I tend to do a lot anyway. But whatever, it is what it is. It is what it is. We didn't bet like Justin this past week.
Hey man, people spend $5-10 on scratch off tickets. Put $5 on a parlay.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm. You're exactly right. Another game intrigues me here. Penn State going to Morgantown, West Virginia, baby.
Dude, don't sleep on West Virginia.
Don't sleep on West. I'm here. I'm with you.
I hate to say it because you know who I'm a fan of. You know where I'm from, but definitely don't like West Virginia. But the Big 12 is wide open.
Pat McAfee predicting, obviously, Pat McAfee went to Virginia, predicting a West Virginia win here. Penn State, poised to have a decent year. They're ranked 8th in the nation preseason. We'll see how that pans out. I'm rooting for the Mountaineers super hard here. I'm rooting for the Mountaineers super hard. I don't know if they'll get it. I hope they keep it close. I'm not going to lock it in, but I would I would take West Virginia with the 8.5, just to do it. Just to do it.
Yeah, I too think so, but I mean, I hope Penn State, I feel like they should win this, but I don't know. Morgantown, they rock. They party up there, man.
Mm-hmm.
They go pretty crazy, especially when the ball's good. When the football's good in Morgantown, that place is. I'd put it top 10.
Oh, it's
top
rocking.
place to play.
It's rocking. All right. Oklahoma State hosts South Dakota State, and I'm only covering this because Joey has a lock on it.
I think this is an interesting game as well. -10 for a top 25 team versus an FCS team. What does this say?
First game of the season, and Oklahoma State didn't start off hot last season. Like if we take a look at their schedule last season, that's full schedule. Let's go 2023. Yeah, let's see. Lost to South Alabama 33-7 here, and Central Arkansas played them close 27-13. Arizona State, Arizona State didn't have a stellar year last year. Lost to Iowa State, and then they had to string it. Then they found out they had Ollie Gordon. And then they had all these wins here until they got to UCF, and that was just like out of nowhere. We were like, Oklahoma State, could be a playoff team, and then UCF was like, no, you're not. We're gonna beat you 45-3. Yeah. So early game in the season, one of the best FCS teams. I mean, you thinking what I'm thinking? Are you gonna bet? You gonna go with Joey and the Jackrabbits here?
So Joey's taking the Jackrabbits.
Joey's shaking the Jackrabbits. He's actually gonna lock in the Jackrabbits at +10. At +10 here.
I faded Joey on FSU Georgia Tech. I'll fade him here, so I'll lock in the boys for a -10.
Nice. And I think I'm gonna follow your lead. Because I saw what you did in week 0, and, Lord, I've seen what you do for Justin, and I want you to do it for me too. So I think they already know they have Ollie Gordon under their belt. I think he's gonna this could be his year. I'm hoping he does good. So I'm gonna lock in the boys as well, and I'm hoping for a good season for the boys. We'll see how that goes, though. You never know. You never know. It's college football, baby, and I'm so glad it's back.
Dude, I mean, it's been a weird off season. I don't know. Sports just haven't been doing it for me. Been missing college football, so for it to be back, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, the Olympics just didn't hit like you want them to, honestly.
It definitely did take my attention. I will say that, but it didn't do enough for me.
Didn't do enough. All right. This game, huge game here. Mike Elko coaches his first game at Texas A&M, and they host a top 10 team in the number 7 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Texas A&M, favorite to win at -3 here. Ooh. It's a home game. So they're ranked 20. Notre Dame's ranked 7. Texas A&M, home field advantage and 3 points.
Give me. Man, this is a weird one.
I think.
Because
Do you have a lock on this? Are you just kind of deciding?
We're kind of just going through it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, if I'm being honest, I kind of want. God, what time is the game at?
Casey takes the Jackrabbits. This game's at 6:30 p.m. Casey's fading you. Casey's taking the Jackrabbits.
That's okay. Casey can fade me. He's also known to be a jinx, so I don't really run with him that often. But
see, I need Davis back on the podcast so I can know what not to pick. That's usually how I go. That's usually how I do it.
It's yeah, him and I faded each other a lot.
Yeah, that too. It happens. I mean, but he had like one year where he just got everything wrong, and then he had another year where he got a lot right. But okay, here I'm gonna make a decision. I'm gonna lock in Notre Dame. It's a big game. I'm not gonna shy away from locking in big games. It makes them way more interesting. for the podcast and for just me in general.
Just for the simple fact that it's a night game and Kyle Field is.
That's huge. That's huge. I like
don't get me
Riley
wrong,
Leonard,
I was gonna say, like, I love Riley Leonard. Like,
but you
he's
got Mike
one
Elko on the other side, who was his coach last year, knows what the kid does. He knows, he knows the intricacies of Riley Leonard. So you got that factor in. This is one of the more interesting games in week 1.
I'm just not loving. Ah, God, it's so weird for me.
I'm locking in Notre Dame. So, because I think Notre Dame's going to go in there and win. They have to. If they're going to make the playoff, they have to.
Tyler Buckner, that kid's quarterback career was ruined by Marshall, and he's over here playing wide receiver now for him. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
So Tyler Buckner was their starting quarterback 2 years ago. Transferred to Bama last year. Now transferred back to Notre Dame. Now he's a wide receiver at Notre Dame.
He's doing the Braxton Miller approach.
Kinda.
Kinda.
Boy, he had actually ended up playing like lacrosse too for a bit.
Notre Dame lacrosse guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
that kind of wide receiver.
Yeah.
You're pondering this. I mean,
I'll take Notre Dame. Give me a
you're going
lock.
to take Notre Dame. You're going to lock Notre Dame. All right, we'll lock you on Notre Dame. We're locked up. I think I've used 3. I think I've used 3 now.
I've used 2.
Yeah, you got 2. Joey's used 2.
Um.
Oh no, sorry, Joey locks in Texas A&M on that one. So
2 fades from Joey. So
2 fades for Joey.
It might be a. So now I have another lock, but we'll get there when we get there. I know we'll talk about it soon. But
No, that's fine. I mean, I'm just trying to sift through some of these, cupcake games. Hopefully, we see this kind of go away in the near future.
I feel
for
like
week.
Syracuse should blow out Ohio.
I don't know about blowout. We can take a look at is that the game you were kind of looking at?
No, it's like I'm 7-2 right now.
Syracuse is favorite -17.5 over Ohio.
17.5 is a weird one.
That is a weird one.
That's a weird one.
I don't know. I wouldn't bet that just because I think you got Syracuse having a new coach. They just lost Dino Babers, so if first
But
game under new coach.
They still have Garrett Schrader.
Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. It's just first game. I got to see what they're doing. I got to see what the scheme is. 'Cause I just don't know. All right, let's see. Alabama. We'll cover Alabama because they're a top 5 team here. They play Western Kentucky at 6:00, which is asinine. I want to just talk to you guys. I have a gripe. You got Miami at Florida at 3:30. In August in Florida, it's going to be hot as hell. And Florida wants the fans to wear white. No one's going to wear white. It's going to be the world's largest wet T-shirt contest if it rains, or everyone's going to be sweating anyway. So that's just a terrible idea. Whoever scheduled that game at 3:30, that needs to be a night game. Everyone's going to be watching it. No one's going to be watching this game past the second quarter unless Western Kentucky's actually doing something here. Alabama's favorite -31.5. Screw Alabama.
But it's crazy. So TJ Finley is now Western Kentucky's quarterback as of today, and he is Austin Reed's processor. He also has played for Auburn, but that's the thing, man. It's like, what are we really getting out of Alabama? We don't know.
I mean, they're still loaded. They're still loaded. Kalen DeBoer's a great coach too.
Kalen DeBoer is statistically one of the best coaches, guys. I mean, his career winning percentage has to be probably the Nick Saban levels or better than Saban. I think he actually has the highest win percentage among active head coaches right now.
So you're saying your main concern is Jalen Milroe and how he's going to do?
No, just how the system's going to be ran. I think DeBoer got bailed out getting Penix as his first quarterback, and Milroe is not Penix, but he's definitely a great quarterback. He's the top 5 quarterback in the SEC, but he's not Penix. I think Penix bailed him out a little bit. So, but 31.
I think yeah, I think you're right. Penix was, he was elusive. He was a playmaker, and he did make some ill-advised throws in some key games, but ended up being okay. So, yeah, I could see that. I could see where you're coming from there. I mean, but do they cover? I would say they do. I think they do, just because I think they're vibing. I think they're vibing with DeBoer right now.
I think they do cover.
All right, Texas.
It's just different. It's just a weird feeling.
It's gonna look weird for Alabama. It's gonna be like they're throwing the ball. What are they doing? This looks weird for Alabama. They're not running it through the A and B gaps. Similar line here. You got number 4 Texas -32 against Colorado State. I saw Colorado State sporting some slick looking state-inspired uniforms.
I'd probably take Colorado State
on the 32 points. That's what I'm kind of thinking too. That's a lot of points. Colorado State's not a bad team.
So they have their quarterback and wide receiver. They both got offered like over $500,000 in NIL to transfer, and they did.
And they stayed. Yeah, they stayed. That's some dogs. I like that. I saw that too. Yeah, I mean,
I'll take for my sake. I'll take Colorado State in the points here.
Yeah, you want to lock it? There we go. We're locking it in. That's good.
Doing 5 locks. We're doing 5 locks or 3 locks.
We'll do 5. I mean, Joey gave me 3. We can do 5, and we can get 2 more from Joey. Just so I can make it easy to remember, on this first week, I'm gonna lock this one in with you because normally we come out with graphics, the whole deal, and we post afterwards. So I'll lock this one in with you. Colorado State +32. I don't think Texas is gonna cover that. Not saying they couldn't. I think they are fully capable of covering that, but I think Colorado State's got some studs on there. All right, so that would be my 4th lock. I'm gonna save the last one for Florida, Miami.
2 more.
Yeah, you got 2 more, so let's find them out here on the board. Do you have one that you already know?
Yeah, so I know it's LSU and USC, and then my other one will also be Florida, Miami. So.
Oh, okay. And then Florida State, Boston. Dang it! I wasted them. All right, so here we go. Let's go. LSU, USC, primetime ABC in Las Vegas, Nevada. LSU's favorite -4.5.
For how high up I am on LSU, I need them to cover, so I'm gonna lock them in with a 4.5.
I mean, that's a good call. I like that. I could see LSU really winning this game. Like, I think LSU is going to win.
I mean, we're going to be seeing a new era for a lot of schools, but Lincoln Riley, that's a situation that we've been watching for a while over there, and it just hasn't been great. So,
I think I'm going to lock this one in too. I don't think I'm going to save my lock for the Florida-Miami game because I feel more sure that LSU is going to beat USC, and I hate to say it, than I do Florida is going to beat Miami. I just feel more sure.
Florida's going to beat Miami?
I think Florida is going to beat Miami in the Swamp. I think the Swamp's going to be rocking. We'll see. We'll see about it. But I'm going to lock in LSU for now. With you. I'm with you.
I mean, I wish Florida would beat Miami, but I just
We'll see. And let's look at this Florida State Boston College game while we're at it. That's on Monday, so
I mean, this is a game I go back to.
Oh, -16? Is -16 right now?
And what about Georgia Tech? They're minus 21.5. When's the last time we saw odds for those guys like that? Come on now.
Against Georgia State. There you go, Magoo. Magoo, you got Georgia State in your school. Yeah, Magoo. Shout out Magoo. Georgia State. He's a Georgia fan, but he went to Georgia State, so also has Georgia State stuff. He might be Georgia. He might be Georgia Southern.
I think it's Georgia Southern.
I think you're right too. So never mind.
It's Georgia Southern.
Scratch that. No shout out for Magoo. No shout out. I would take Boston College here, plus 16 with the points.
I do too, just because it looked so ugly last weekend.
Mhm.
But for it to be 6:30 prime time in Doak, I mean that's a
Yeah, but Doak's under construction, man. Like they pretty much got it done. They pretty much got it done, but it didn't look like it was done all the way.
They
to
also
me.
the construction has really hurt what Doak's about. You know, they put the students like yards and like 50, 100 yards way up above the game, where they used to be right down on field level.
Casey's saying he's hammering LSU. I think, yeah, I switched my lock from the Florida Miami game because I was saving it, but I think I think you hammer down on LSU there. But yeah, back to FSU and Boston College, bro. Well, I mean, after what we saw in week 0, against Georgia Tech, and knowing Boston here, I'm gonna pull up this video real quick, but we're both on the same page right here, right? Like minus 16, too many points.
Too many points.
Too many points. I don't think so. And Joey, tell me if I'm wrong. You're an FSU fan. You know, I might be biased. You might be biased, but we can at least say, hey, yeah, Boston College sucks. But like Boston College played him close last time. Played him physical.
That's the game. That's probably the game I brought up the most more than anybody else, because that game should have gone to overtime, but Boston College missed a PAT, and so when they got another touchdown at the end of the game, they had to try to go for 2 because of that missed PAT. So if they don't miss that PAT, they don't have to go for 2. They would have just tied the game up, and they would have gone to overtime. And no one talked about that game, but I was just like, that's a blemish, man. Boston College is not it. That was a blemish, and.
Joey Two Guns, FSU Joey says they have temp seats in Doak, so they got temporary seats. And he's saying half the team had the flu last year. I'm hearing excuses. That's true. They did have the flu last year. That's true. I don't know. It seems like they were drinking in Dublin, too. 16 is a lot, though, he says. 16 is a lot, though. Boston College released this hype video for their quarterback. So let's check this out. He is a stud. But can he put it together at Doak?
Look who's walking out at quarterback. The transfer from UCF, Thomas Castellanos. First time we're seeing him in an Eagles jersey. Let's see what he's got, Eagles fans.
Castellanos gets through and still on his feet. He's got one man to beat inside the 20, inside the 10. He'll score.
He launches it into the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown.
Got a couple houses around my neck. Know you tired of going, go get your rest. Real brick, baby. Section 8, my cousin, Nick, baby. I'm about to start living with me.
Oh, that's a pretty sick edit right there. That was pretty sick edit right there. Not gonna lie.
Dude's an athlete. Dude's an athlete.
So my main concern for FSU is how athletic he is as a runner, and watching Haynes King and Georgia Tech run the ball all over FSU. So,
we were
not saying they're going to lose.
We were calling Haynes King Vanilla Vic, watching him do his thing. Man, that guy was going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but the way he was like running the quarterback blast right up the middle, dude, it was reminding me of Tebow. Honestly, like a little bit of Tebow-esque there to me. But, dude, I think 16 points is just
too much.
Too much is too much.
Too much sauce.
Too much sauce there. Yeah. So, all right. We've covered most of our locks here. I think it's time, and maybe this should be the shot game of the week, the Miami-Florida game, because it seems like there will be disagreement, at least by Joey. I know he's gonna pick Miami. I know he's gonna pick.
We've had just. I mean, Joey's choosing.
Yeah.
A&M. He's also choosing. Who was the other game? South Dakota State.
But here's the deal: it's a rivalry game, and I know Joey's gonna pick Miami to beat Florida. I know he is. So if you fall on whatever side, then if you pick the Gators, just hypothetically, if you pick the Gators, then we would make Joey take 2 shots or whatever the deal. Maybe he just takes 1 shot. And then we would have to say, it is what it is.
So, but if I take Miami, then you would have to take 2 shots.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how that goes. I mean, that's just how it I mean, what do you want me to say? That's just how that goes.
I'm just making sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah, no, we are on the same page. I'm just stalling because I want to play this video I made because I'm proud. I'm proud for getting this together here.
It's the play button. What's happening?
All right. So obviously, game of the week there. Miami at Florida in a rivalry game. They don't get to play this a lot, so it's special when they do. The Hurricanes and the Gators, man. Billy Napier. This is why Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal are on the thumbnail. Both these coaches in the hot seat. This win is something that both fan bases feel that they need to start the season right. And Florida needs it bad. Florida needs those 5 games. They need to win 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 of them, or else the season, you might be looking down the barrel of another losing season.
Holy shit. I mean, even the matchup predictor has Florida winning this game. I am just, look.
Miami's favored in the spread, though. Miami's favored in the spread.
Yeah, they're favored in the spread. I want to come out and say this. This is going to be my statement on the Gators this year. It's not it. This is Napier's last year. This is not going to be a good year. I don't think they're going to compete. I love Graham Mertz, but I am not looking forward to this season as a fan. I'm not looking forward to this. I don't know where people are finding Miami to make this a close game. I think Miami's going to win.
You think Miami's going to win?
Yeah.
And I'm just getting word that video didn't play, so I'm pissed about that. We'll have to edit that in post. That sucks. Thank you, chat. Thanks, Tim. We saw it. We saw it in the studio. Whatever. I think this is not going to be Napier's last year because I think that he wins enough to keep it going. I think that from what we've been hearing from camp, which has been what we heard last year. Mm-hmm. What we heard last year, all positive. So, so
that's the thing. We always hear positives, but it never comes out positive. It comes out ugly.
But my thing is like they addressed the D line, and like I went back and watched film on some of the people that transfer, like Umami Allen that transferred to Ole Miss. There were plays where he would just take off. He would just take off plays. And if Napier doesn't win, like if he goes 4-7 or whatever, he is out. Yeah, he is out. I think if Napier wins 6 games or 7 games, he's in.
Let's break down the schedule. I want you to predict Florida's schedule right now on the fly. Go.
I'm gonna go 7-5. I'm gonna go.
No, I want you to like break down the games. Like just go 1-0, 2-0, 1-1, 2-1. You know, like pull it up and break it down.
I think they get the win against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I think they get the win against Samford. Mm-hmm. So that's 2. Texas A&M is a question mark for me. It's at home. It's at home at least. And this is week 1. I reserve my right to change my mind if they come out and look shit against Miami and Samford. But
I'm just trying to see where you're seeing 7 games.
I'm seeing 6-7. I think they can beat here's teams that they can beat. They can beat the first 5 teams.
Correct.
They can beat the first 5 teams. That's 5 games right there that they need. Tennessee's a loss. At Tennessee, I think that's a loss. Kentucky, you've lost to Kentucky, 3 years in a row now?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we gotta wait and see that. I think that's a question mark. That is a winnable game. It's a winnable game, but I don't know. Florida did put on 500 something pounds across the board for their starters, or for the whole team, in weight and muscle this year. So they are more physical. I think there was an interview with someone on the defense that was like, yeah, we actually learned how to tackle in the offseason. We didn't learn how to tackle last year. So I'm like, all right, what the hell is going on? And you think about last year. You got 2 games in the Arkansas game where there was a missed field goal there at the end that cost them the game. So that's 6 wins. And then that 4th and 17 at Missouri, at a good Missouri team, they blew that lead there. That's 7 wins right there. This schedule is harder, but I'm looking.
The schedule's the number 1 in the country?
It is the number
difficulty?
It is. But you're not LSU. LSU's still a question mark to me. They're going to be good, but they just lost a Heisman Trophy quarterback.
It's yeah, but they have Nusses.
Too. LSU is going to have a great offensive line. Still a question mark on defense. And Florida State, obviously not looking as good as we were thinking preseason. We were thinking.
So that's the only game that popped up recently for me. That's the only game. I see 6. I see 6 to 7.
Florida beat Tennessee last year. They beat them last year, and Florida just, even in their down years, for some reason has Tennessee's number a lot of times. And this is college football. It's not like sometimes the numbers don't add up,
And nailing, it's just not going to happen.
It's happened all the time, baby. It's happened all the time. We ain't losing. We're gonna go 9-3 in the regular season. Make it to the playoff. No. So these last 5 games, that's tough. Georgia, Texas, LSU. At least you get LSU and Ole Miss at home. Then you go to Doak Campbell. That's to be determined, but Florida State not looking as good as we thought.
I have Florida beating Florida State. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I said it before the Boston College game, or before the Georgia Tech game.
Okay, what about UCF here? That's a key one. UCF, October 5th is key.
That's where I'm like, I don't know. I really don't. I'm just I just don't know.
I think they get the win at Mississippi State.
Yeah, I do too.
Texas A&M is a big question mark for me because I like Mike Elko as a head coach. I think he's a great head coach, but year 1, and there's bad blood between Florida and Texas A&M. Texas A&M took a couple coaches. Texas A&M hired one of our best recruiters. Can't think of his name right now. He went over there for a couple months and came back to Florida. So no telling what kind of intel he just got. Did he just get sent on a spy mission to Texas A&M and come back to Florida? All sorts of factors that we don't even know about. So Billy Taggart, we're not going to have that in this chat, Joe. You're not going to sit here and call Sunbelt Billy Taggart. That's just not going to stand on this podcast, brother. You gotta have the faith. But I see you don't. We'll make this the shot game. You and Joey can take Miami -3.
Here's why, though. I have faith in the Gators. I want them to win. I want them to shock me. I have Miami in the championship of the ACC this year.
This game doesn't even matter for that. It doesn't even matter. And to be honest, I looked at Miami's schedule, and I wrote down a win for every single other game except for Florida. Every other game but Florida, I wrote W. I went down the line.
And that's where the delusion sets in.
Yeah, it is. But then also, I could see them, Miami's going to pull a Miami. Do you remember when they were 11-0, and then they went to a Pitt team that wasn't that good? It was 2017, and they just lost. That
was hurtful.
That is hurtful. I mean, that's what Miami does. Miami hasn't won a conference championship since 2003, and it wasn't even the ACC. It was the Big East. They're not winning the ACC. I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell you guys. They never won in the ACC. They're not going to win this year when it could be the last year in the ACC. That's not how it's going to get bookmarked.
So then who is?
Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's going all the way, baby. Georgia Tech is winning the ACC.
That's an overreaction.
That's an overreaction for sure. No, I mean, it's wide open. It's wide open. SMU might win it. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
No, SMU could win it with the schedule that they have. If they get their head out of their ass out of the Nevada game, like they could definitely win it.
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of these schedules, okay, so in the SEC, I went through every SEC school in this book, and I had us losing to Tennessee. I had Florida losing to Tennessee. So you can have, I think I said Tennessee, Texas, and Missouri could feasibly all end up undefeated because they don't play each other. They don't play each other. And so you got 3 SEC teams who are undefeated. Who do you pick for the conference championship? It's not going to shake out like that. I know it's not because SEC
they
SEC.
did break down the tiebreakers, and the tiebreakers literally go from point differential versus mutual opponents. So
okay.
That's how they do it.
That's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it.
And even if it's tied, they'll do a coin flip.
The coin flip?
There's like the 5 other things has to happen, including the point differential versus mutual opponents. Like they have to have the exact same and 5 different things for the coin flip to happen.
I mean, I like it. I don't think it's going to happen because there's just too much chaos.
Could you imagine a televised coin flip segment that happens?
Yeah, I can. And we would play a drink along. We'd do a drink along podcast to it. That's how that would happen.
Like,
be amazing.
Did they just do one? Like it's like there's a giant like segment, like it's a giant like a panel breaks it down, breaking down the seasons, breaking down everything, and like they just built a stage just for a coin flip, and the coin gets flipped. That's it, and that's it. Or do they do like 10 different coin flips, and whoever picks or gets them right most of the time wins?
I say, you do duck race.
Who gets to pick the coin flip? You can't. Who gets to pick the coin flip? Do you flip a coin to see who picks the actual coin flip? That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying. You got to have fun with it. I think you do a duck race, or I think you have all the teams who are involved in the sidebreaker pick a character in a triple threat match on WWE 2K24 or something, and then the winner of that.
I think the mascots should come into play here.
Oh, the mascots? Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
And then you got rest in peace, Mike Leach, doing the analysis there. Well, a Longhorn's gonna beat a Volunteer unless the Volunteer ropes them, kind of deal. But anyway, SEC is gonna be utter chaos. I think this whole year is gonna be utter chaos, just because the Big Ten. We didn't really get into the Big Ten, but
no, we didn't.
But we will. It's gonna be chaos. Like I also Oregon, Ohio State, looking like 2 national championship contending teams, and they play each other week 2 or week 3. So, yeah, I'm excited. I don't know. Do you have anything else, Justin? I think we're good to wrap it there, dude.
I think we're good to wrap it. I mean, we'll definitely get to see how a lot of things look a little better. We'll get a better perspective. The games are going to be good this week. We'll get a full slate. I mean, I feel good.
I feel good. I'm ready to call for that season. Subscribe to at CFP Extravaganza. Like and subscribe to at Real SWAMCAST. And Justin, if you have any plugs, plug them, baby. Plug them.
This is the one. This is the one. Yep.
I got a couple comedy shows coming up, so if you want to hear about that, follow me there. Other than that, thanks, Justin, for sticking with us through technical difficulties. And we'll be back next week, guys. And we'll probably be back with a live in-person thing and maybe doing some College Football 25 action.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fun. All right. Peace.
Peace.